Well, welcome back to the P18 podcast, everybody. Our guest today is Mr. Jerry Irion.
Hello.
Mr. Irion's a science teacher for us here at Perry High School. Jerry, thank you for taking some time to be with us today on the podcast.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it.
So I have some questions for you.
All right.
I'm going to fire them your way, as I can here,
Okay.
and then feel free to give me any and all information on each question that you would like to.
Any and all. Okay. We'll see.
Any and all. You never know what we're going to
That's right.
find out on these things.
Yeah.
Right?
It could be scary.
So question number one. Can you share a little bit about your journey and how you came to be a part of Perry High School?
All right. Well, I got into teaching a little bit later in life. This is my 16th year here at Perry, and it's my 16th year teaching. So this is my only teaching job I've ever had. I was in the fitness and rehab equipment industry for almost 20 years. So had a background in biology from college, but used it in a little different manner then. And life gets in the way sometimes. I was thinking of teaching more as like a retirement type situation. But I went back to school while I was working and got my master's, and then just decided to make the jump. My wife was working in the Gilbert district, and I thought, well, we could kind of be on the same schedule, summers and this and that. So I thought I wanted to be with the Gilbert district, and then I saw an opening here and applied, and I interviewed with Dan Serrano and Jerry Bell. And it seemed like a really, really good situation. And I'm really glad I joined the Chandler district. So it's been a good ride so far.
So Perry's really been home for you.
Yeah. My only teaching, real teaching experience in a school type setting.
Fantastic. So in that space, in science, what does a typical day look like for you?
I've been teaching 0 hour for probably 10 or 12 years here now. So I get up pretty early. I get up at about 4:30, and so I can have a breakfast and et cetera, et cetera. Try to get in here by 6 o'clock at the latest if I can, so I can have a little bit of time to prep. 0 hour starts at 6:30. So just kind of prep for the day. This is also one of my first years that I'm only teaching one subject. I used to do honors and on level, so I'm just doing on level this year. So it's a little less prep.
So what part of your job would people be surprised if they knew about?
I don't know. I think sometimes the kids think that we don't want them to be successful. Like we like them to, struggle or this or that. And that's the farthest from the truth. We want them to be successful. We want to help them be a part of their success. But they got to want it too a little bit. So we really don't like, giving out bad grades, this and that. But then again, we're not giving them out. They're earning them. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But again, we want them to be successful. And I think it's awesome. I've had a chance to meet some of my former students out and about just randomly. And it's great to see what they're doing. And it's surprising, what they can do when they really put their heads to it and put some effort in. There's been some real great success stories from some people from Perry. So it's fun to see what's going on from here.
All right, different style of question for you. Get out of the classroom for a second. If you could have dinner with any sports figure, past or present, who would it be and why?
This will probably be, maybe no one will even know who this person is. All right.
We'll find out.
His name is Al Order. He was a 4-time gold medal winning discus thrower for the United States.
Okay.
And he was living out in New York for a while when I was living out there also. But I threw discus in high school and college, and actually I just started picking it up again recently. I just competed in the Senior Olympics for the state of Arizona, qualified for nationals. So I would love to pick his brain because that's a 16-year time frame when he was still tops in the world. So that's a pretty long reign of his. So to see how he did it for so long, it's been tough for me getting back into it. My first meet back was 35 years after my previous meet. So, but he was just a tremendous athlete and a really good businessman also on top of that. So it would be really interesting to see what his whole career, I followed his career, but really what the down and dirty stuff was that he had to do to really stay at that level.
All right. So you're going to dinner. You're both from New York.
Right.
Where are you going to dinner?
Oh, well, I think he was out. Actually, I was living out on Long Island for a little while, and that's where he was. So I would go to some open meets hoping to see him throw, and I never got to. But I grew up in upstate New York, so it would depend. If he knew some good places in the city, I'd probably have to rely on his suggestions. Up where I was, we'd probably go up, have dinner up on Lake George, up in upstate New York.
Very nice. Senior Olympics.
Yeah.
National qualifier.
Yeah.
So when is this? When do you get?
It would be. There's a couple other meets. There's like 3 major kind of organizations that run like nationals or even international championships. So I got to kind of see what I can do. If I can do a little bit better, I think I'd like to kind of participate in one of the higher level, more than just the Senior Olympics. It's like the USA Track and Field Association's Masters program.
That's incredible.
So yeah, that would be fun. The World Championships were just in Sweden this past summer, and I've talked to some local people that attended it, and they said it was a great time. And if I can get my throws a little bit better, I think I might be able to qualify for something like that.
That's fantastic. All right, so back to Perry, just here for a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay, so what do you wish that more people understood about Perry High School?
Probably how much goes on behind the scenes. I'm amazed. I try to hit a lot of events, whether it's, the drama or the sports or whatever it might be. And you see some of these employees, I see them at 6 a.m. I see them at 8 o'clock at night. Guys like Ulysses. I mean, he must just have a cot here, right? He just stays here all the time. But there's a lot of work that goes on, putting on all these events. And there's just a ton of people that don't get the credit for really what makes Perry go. Obviously, the teachers and administration are more of the face of the school, but there's a ton that goes on behind the scenes. So hopefully people recognize them and appreciate all that they do.
All right. And lastly, we all have choices about where we can work. What makes Perry the place for you?
Probably the response I got. My wife was in a bad accident 8 years ago, and the response that the Perry family had was amazing. I was able to take almost an entire year off, and I didn't miss a paycheck because of people's kindness, donating vacation time to me. There were some fundraisers that helped out. Our bills were astronomical. So, I mean, anything from Moveo to the football team to the band to just people I didn't even know reaching out. So it was amazing. All the teachers in the science department, everybody picked up one of my classes to finish out that year. And then we had a long-term sub or the next year, I'm sorry, there's a long-term sub that finished out my year. I left at the beginning, and then for the most of the following year, everybody picked up one of my classes. So just the way everybody supported me, the administration has been great. It's like I said, I originally thought I wanted to be in the Gilbert School District. I'm very, very glad I was not in the Gilbert School District. Chandler's been fantastic.
Well, those are all the questions I had for you today. Mr. Irion, thank you very much for spending some time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm glad you're doing this so people can get a little more information about some of the people here on campus.
That's our goal.
It's a great campus. I'm so glad to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but at Perry.
All right. Thank you again. And that is our PA Team podcast for today.